In this video, I'd like to share with you how I reduced my screen time by over 50%. I'm going to share with you 8 ways I did this. And just as a caveat, some of these things that I'm going to share with you, I managed to do maybe like 50% of the time. So I want you to set proper expectations here. This is not an easy thing to do to reduce your screen time, because these technologies that we're dealing with, these apps and these services, they're built using exponential technologies such as personalized data harvesting, decentralized content curation, and artificial intelligence, which basically is programmed to feed you the most sticky and most engaging content that will keep you on site for as long as possible. These companies like Facebook and TikTok, they are in the business sector that earns money gathering your attention and then repackaging it and selling it to advertisers. So we got to understand that it's a very strong incentive these companies have to keep you on site, to get as many clicks out of you, and to just retain your attention for as long as possible. So now let's get into the practical ways I reduced my screen time. The first thing that I did was I made a general commitment to being more intentional with the way I use new technologies. There came a point where I realized that I was spending way too much time passively scrolling apps like Instagram and YouTube and just consuming content without really getting any real value out of it. I wasn't ready to delete these apps, but I wanted to lessen the amount of time I spend on them and actually make it so that the time I do spend on these apps and services is really helping me and is giving me some real tangible value. The second thing I did was I installed a few app blockers. So there are a few apps that I use, Freedom and Unhook. Freedom is a wonderful app you can download to your iOS devices. You can download it onto your Mac or to your iPhone. It's also available on Android and PC and Windows. And the great thing about Freedom is it allows you to block any websites or any apps on your devices that you don't want to use at a certain period of time. So I've been using Freedom this year, and I can honestly say that it's at least doubled my productivity. It's really amazing how powerful this app is, and I highly recommend it. I'm not affiliated, I just think it's a great app. Unhook is another app I think you should check out. Unhook is a Chrome extension that you can download, and I use Unhook to basically wipe my YouTube homepage clean. Because sometimes I want to access YouTube for specific tutorials and to learn specific things while I'm doing research, for example, but I don't want to get distracted by all the flashy things on YouTube. Well, Unhook solves that problem for me and allows me to just see the search bar. So I can very intentionally type what I need to type into YouTube, and that's it. So I think it's a must-have website Chrome extension. You should download it immediately. It's free also, so that's great. The third thing that I did was I decided to set a few rules for myself for how I use my phone. And specifically, I set the rule of not using my mobile phone for the first 2 hours of my day. This is something that I don't always succeed at doing. Sometimes I cave and I check my phone earlier, but I find that most of the time I'm able to do this 2 hour thing, and when I can, my day is so much more productive than if I would just like scroll my phone from the beginning of the day. It's really pretty insane how big of a difference it makes for me. And so I've done this, and the other rule I set for myself was I decided not to use my phone for the last 1 hour of the day before I go to sleep. And I've found this to be very powerful as well for my just mental clarity and the quality of my sleep. I notice I sleep better if I don't look at my phone before bed. Now, it's not easy to avoid your phone in the morning if you use it as a alarm clock. So this is why I recommend you actually get a physical alarm clock. If you have your phone as your alarm, then the first thing you do in the morning is you see your screen, your phone screen, because you got to turn off your alarm. And after that, like, you need this extra bit of discipline to avoid looking at your phone right when you've, opened it. So I recommend you get a physical alarm clock and keep your phone in another room, not in the same room as you sleep in. The fifth thing I did is I replaced some of this time in the mornings and in the evening that I'd normally spend looking at my phone. I replaced it with doing something else. When I first tried to lower my phone use and just lower my screen time in general, I noticed that I got really bored because I realized I had so much time that was just left to be filled, and there was just like a void of nothing to do. And I quickly I went back into my old patterns because it was too hard to resist looking at my phone when I was just like sitting on my couch fiddling my thumbs. So I, of course, then noticed that I actually need to fill this time doing something else, something more useful and like productive. So I decided to, start doing things like reading more, writing, and going out to take photos. Just things that I really like to do and I wish I had more time to do, but I never really get a chance to do as much as I want to. The next thing I did was I put my screen time, the iPhone screen time widget, onto the homepage of my phone. So I can always see when I open my phone how much time have I been spending on my phone so far during the day. I found this is a really important reminder for myself because I tend to just easily forget, and I just don't even realize how much time I'm spending on my phone. Easily I can spend like 40 minutes on my phone during lunch and not even realize that it's been 40 minutes and that, I'm just wasting time. I'm procrastinating, just looking up stupid stuff online. So it's a really important thing, I think, for me, I found, to just have this kind of constant reminder whenever I open my phone. Okay, that's all I got for you today. I hope you got something out of this and you are gonna try and apply at least a few of these tips. Give it a try, and like I said, it's not easy. This is something that I've been working on for a few years, and like I said before, I still struggle with it. Still times when I get caught in the loop and I start to look at my phone way too much, start to get sucked into some YouTube algorithm or something else. So it's not an easy endeavor, but it's definitely worth it, and it's definitely possible to drastically reduce your consumption. So I recommend you do this right away. That's the whole video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next week's video. Take care.